Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing lesson 24, which will be about adding user authentication using some more modules. Today I'm going to be the driver. I'm joined by Wutumelo and Sharon. Sharon's going to be my navigator. Yeah, welcome. Sharon's going to be my navigator, and the first thing that we're going to do is to require and initialize our passport in main.js. Like I said, we have new modules that we are using, which is passport local, mongoose, passport, and what else? Yeah, I think it's those two. And the first thing that we're going to do is require initialize passport in main.js. So this is our main.js. We require passport. We also create a user here. We import it from our model/user module, and then after that we're just gonna initialize that passport and configure it to use sessions in our express.js using these two lines here. And we then going to set up passport serializing in main.js, and to do that first, like, we have to use this user that we imported to serialize that specific user, and then we're going to use these three methods here to create a strategy for the user and also set up a passport to serialize and deserialize our user data. And that's line 68 to 70. And then after that we are going to add our passport local mongoose plugin to our user schema, which is in our models, and user.js. We import that, and then after importing it, what we are going to do is register a new user in the create action in users controller.js, and that's in our controllers. We are going to modify the create function that we had. I'm going to modify the create function that we had before. It's still gonna be a callback function, but after it's going to check, it's going to run this if statement here, and if the request is a skip, then we're just going to return this next to move on. Then we create this new user variable here, and we create a new instance of a user. We get the user parameters, which is just what's provided in the body of the request. Then we use the register method to register that new user instance we created. We get their password from this body, the body of the request, and if there's an error, and then we have a callback function here taking error and user as parameters. And if there is a user, if there's no error, if it's successful, we use our flash once again to show the success, and then it's just going to show on our screen that whatever the user's name is, their account has been created successfully. Otherwise it's going to be an error. That means it failed, and it's going to tell us that it failed to create a user account because, and whatever error message we have is going to display it, and then it's going to redirect us, right? It's going to move on to the next function and redirect us. And the next thing that we did is to add our passport authentication middleware in our users controller.js. With this new authenticate function, we changed the one that we had before, and now we are using this authenticate method of the passport module, which is going to be the strategy that we are using as local. And we're going to have our failure redirect. It's going to redirect us to the login page if there's a failure, and then if there's it's going to, if there's a failure, it's going to flash failed to log in. But then if it's successful, it's going to take us to our default route, and it's going to flash that it's going to show us a flash that says logged in, right? That means it was successful. Then after that we are going to add a login status to our navigation bar in layout.ejs. And if I go to my views here on layout.ejs, you can see here it's just an if statement. It's going to check, if you remember, on in our main.js here we have this in our flash, right? We have this property here basically in our locals that is logged in, and this is true when the request is authenticated. So it's going to authenticate the request, and it's going to save it in this variable here, and then our layout.ejs is going to check if that variable exists that logged in, and if it does, it's just going to show us that it's logged in, as it's going to show us it's going to go to this root here, user slash the user's ID, and it's going to get their name and show us that we are logged in as that user, and it's a button, right? It's a button that we can click. And yeah, after this we have another button here, which is a logout button, and that's only gonna show up if we are logged in, and you can click that button and it's gonna log you out. But if you are not logged in, it's just gonna show you a login button to allow you to log in. And then after this we are going to add our local variables to the custom middleware, which is what I spoke about earlier. These two variables that we created here, current user and logged in, and then we are going to add a logout action in our user's controller. So when you click that logout button, something is supposed to happen, and this function here is going to control all of that. It's going to log out it's going to run the logout function on the request, and then it's gonna flash the success that we have been logged out, and then redirect us to the default route. And yeah, in this lesson we added a few Passport.js packages to assist in the encryption and authentication of user data, and by connecting an additional validation action to our user login middleware chain, we can ensure that user passwords are secure and the login experience is consistent. So let me just show you how all of this works. The server is already running and I'm not logged in yet, right? So I can just refresh to start afresh. I'm not logged in, and when I click the login button, it takes me to the login page, and I can log in as this user here. Just put this email, and then I can put the password, and then I log in, and you see it shows us this button here, logged in as me again, and this is this link here to give us an option to log out. And as you can see here, it shows that flash message that we are logged in, and if I click on log out, it's going to redirect us. That logged in variable that we had in our layout.ejs is going to become false, so this else statement is going to be triggered, and when I click log out, this goes away, and now we have this login button again, and it shows us this flag, this message flag here that says this flash message that says we have been logged out. So that was 24. Once again, I was joined by Boy Dumelo and Sharon. Sharon was my navigator. Thank you very much. See you next time.